Hi everybody, it's Nikki from Dutiful Dogs here. I hope you're having a great week. Today let's talk about vocals. Do I talk to my dogs? Yes, of course I do. It's a great way to have a conversation without being judged or given unsolicited advice, if a little one-sided. The question isn't, do you talk to your dog? Rather, do you communicate with your dog? Non-judgmental conversations are great for a little downtime discourse, but they muddy the water when it comes to training. Now, sit down, Fido. There's a good boy. No, don't do that. No, sit down. Fido, where are you going? Fido, come here. Fido. Now, I don't know about you, but even as a human, I found that exchange pointless, irritating, and exhausting. Yet how many times do you hear dog owners doing this with their beloved furry family members? And is the dog listening? Of course it isn't. It's tuned out all the meaningless background noise and it's staring down that squirrel right there. Yep, that's the one. The one it's about to chase and pull its distracted, chit-chatting owner off their feet. You want your dog to come to you and sit? That's what you tell your dog. Shocker, eh? Come. Good come. Sit. Good sit. Dogs use their body language and their energy, not their voices, as their primary method of communication. If you want to communicate effectively with your dog, you need to learn to speak dog. So aside from learning what your dog is telling you, how to respond accordingly, and how to communicate using your body language, how can you learn to use your voice better? Sometimes it's by not using it at all. Silence is a powerful tool if you know when and how to use it. If you've ever tried to shout down a barking dog to make it stop, you'll know that it rarely works. The dog just goes, "Oh, you're barking too? Awesome. We'll all bark together." And then it barks more. Dogs don't understand words in the same way that we do. Yes, they can learn words and what those words are associated with. But the key is not the word itself, it's the intent behind the word and the vocal or tone used. There's no need to bark commands at your dog, pun intended. There is no need to repeat the command in a louder, sharper voice if it's not complied with immediately. Give your dog the time to respond to what you want. You can sharpen up response times when you've proofed the command after several hundred cycles of it. Repeating commands merely opens up a dialogue with the dog, so you may get the sit on the first or the 8th repetition. Who knows? Either way, why do you want to repeat a command 7 or 8 times in the first place? Be clear and concise about what you want and practice constantly. Don't request behaviours. Commands are called commands for a reason. If your sit or stay is hesitant, the dog will be hesitant. Why should they obey the command if your voice betrays the very fact that you don't trust them to follow it in the first place? The stay command is a great example of this. I hear clients telling their dogs, "Stay, stay, stay," in the most hesitant of voices as they move away from the dog. It's more a case of luck than learning if the dog actually stays in position. Give a nice, firm stay in a deep, neutral tone. Move away from the dog. It doesn't matter if the dog breaks the stay. Take the end of the leash and move the dog back into position. Give the command again. Same voice, same tone, same action. Say it once, mean it, and move away from the dog. No is one of the hardest vocals for dog owners to master. Because we're saying no to mark an undesirable behaviour, we often say it in the same tone as we would use for a naughty child, with the same frustration inherent in it. As a consequence, the dog responds to this energy and will often escalate their behaviour. Dogs do not learn or understand in the same manner as a human child, so anger or disappointment in a vocal doesn't translate to them as it would to your own offspring. The no we use should sound firm, calm, and methodical. It should be a statement with a slight undertone of threat. This no is not to be trifled with. If a punishment or correction has at any point followed the no, The dog will form the association and in future will stop the behaviour upon hearing no, rather than after receiving a correction. Neutrality is key, both for commands and corrections, except for the recall command. Make your recall as enthusiastic as possible, especially when first starting out training. You've seen how happily your dog greets you even when you've only been gone for 10 minutes. You need to reflect that level of joy in your voice when recalling your dog, even when you're really mad at them. High-pitched vocals and baby talk excites dogs, which is why we discourage them most of the time. Recalls are one of the only times that I, as a trainer, will actively encourage these kinds of vocals. But remember, as soon as your dog has recalled to you, bring your energy and vocals back down as you give the praise. So, come, 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 come. Good, come. And get the dog into a sit. Whispering can also be used to great effect. Try whispering commands to your dog. Their hearing is much more acute than you might think, and whispering makes the dog have to work just that little bit harder to hear you and figure out what you want from it. Because giving you what you want means that good things happen for the dog. And when good things happen, the association forms and behaviours are learned and repeated. Have a great weekend, folks.